Hey everybody, it is October 2nd, 2014 here in Southwest Florida, and I just want to show you the garden that I have going on here now. This is supposed to be a fall garden, and the first thing that I want to show you are some gourd plants that I have. I have hard shell gourds of the birdhouse variety. I was hoping to maybe try making some bowls out of those because I'm interested in self-sufficiency. These are loofah gourd plants, and they're smooth loofahs. That's the variety. These are wax gourd plants, and this one's supposed to produce small fruit. This one's supposed to produce larger fruit, and I'm interested in growing them partially for the wax. I've heard that you can scrape off the wax, and some people make candles out of it, but what I wanted to do is try to seal off the gourd bowls with it, because I know that some people do seal off their gourd bowls with wax so that food and whatever doesn't get into the pores of it. But I've never heard of anybody using wax gourds to do that, so it'll be an experiment. Now, I should also mention that the gourds are going to grow outside the boundaries of the garden, and they'll grow on this fence segment that I have set up here, and I'll probably also let them grow out onto the grass a little bit too. They can grow in between the other rows that I have out here too. Over here we have sweet potato vines. Now, I don't know what the variety is here, but I got them, I got the potatoes from the grocery store, Walmart actually, I think, and I've had some difficulty growing sweet potato vines. If you go online, they'll tell you all you have to do is just get the sweet potatoes from a grocery store and then just put them in water and they will grow. I don't really think that works. I think that you have to have potatoes that are ready to sprout. I put my potatoes in water several times, or I tried doing that several times before, and they just grow mold. So what I did was I went to Walmart, got some of the biggest ones I could find, and left them sitting around the house, and waited until some of them had some purple sprouts coming out, and then I buried those in the ground in the summer, and some vines came out. They probably would have grown more in the summer, but they kind of got choked out because the garden was too crowded. And so basically I salvaged some vines, put them in my window so they could grow roots, and then started again and planted them here. And that's what you're looking at, the vines that I planted about a month ago. And that's the growth that they've done over a month. Okay, here's what the sweet potato vines looked like around the middle of September, shortly after I planted them towards the beginning of September. So anyway, moving on, we have eggplant. Now, this thing is pretty much completely dead. There's a pepper plant, jalapeno pepper plant growing over it. Now, I wanted to grow eggplant over the summer because I heard that you can do that in Florida. Eggplant is good for the wet season, which is over the summer, but the eggplant that I got did not produce. It was just Black Beauty variety, which is supposed to be good for the wet season here, and it didn't produce anything, and I tried to leave it through the fall to see if it would produce anything, and it's not producing anything. It's just dying. Alright, so we have peppers as well. I mentioned the jalapeno pepper plant. Here's another jalapeno pepper plant. That's a habanero pepper plant. Another habanero. Bell pepper plant, and another bell pepper plant. Now I planted all these pepper plants in the summer, the beginning of the summer. I think it was like June 15th. That's when I transplanted them anyway. And they got choked out because, like I said, the garden was too crowded. One main problem that I had was that I had a bunch of pumpkin vines crowding everything out. If you're going to plant pumpkins, make sure you have room for them. They require a lot of space. I mean, I had like 2 plants, and they were taking over this whole garden, which is like 12 by 12. Anyway, yeah. So I trimmed them back at the end of the summer, and well, I trimmed some of them back more than others, and decided I would let them grow to see if they would produce, and they are starting to produce. There are a few little developing fruits that I can see. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, there's one. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway. Now I planted black oil sunflower seedlings here and here. This is an old black oil sunflower plant that I grew in the summer. There's some more seedlings over there. In Florida here we have the wet season during the summer, and I've never heard of anybody growing a sunflower in the wet season here, but it grew successfully. It's dead now, obviously, but it did produce seeds. I tried planting some of them, and they didn't grow, so maybe that's because I had only 1 plant. Maybe it needs 2 plants to produce viable seeds. I don't know. Yeah, so I got the black oil sunflower seeds from birdseed bags. Actually, got those at Walmart. This is corn of the painted mountain variety. Might have to thin it out a little bit. Had some insect problems with the corn. When it was smaller, it was getting attacked by these little caterpillars. And you can still see some of the leaf damage. Anyway, every morning I would just go out and try to find them on the leaf, and a lot of times they would be hiding all the way down in there where the new leaves come out. And if you squeeze the plant down there in that area, sometimes they'll crawl out, and then you can pinch them, kill them. Yeah, so I mean that's my main method of destroying the caterpillars, just killing them, just trying to kill them with my hands. I guess I could also try spraying the leaves with like ground pepper or something to make the leaves less palatable, but I haven't tried that yet. The only method of organic pest control that I've had any success with is spraying oil on aphids, but the aphids really attacked the black-eyed peas over the summer, but we'll talk about those later. This is an okra plant that I planted over the summer, and it was a lot bigger before, but I pruned it back to try to stimulate some new growth, and there is some new growth, but not a lot. Okay, here's what the okra plant looked like before I pruned it. Um, I don't know. I'm starting to think that okra will just get old and stop producing after a while. This is Louisiana green velvet variety. Here's another okra plant that I planted later in the summer. It's still producing now into the fall. See, there's some okra pods up on there. And yeah, hopefully I'll get some more okra pods out of this larger one, but I'm not sure. Here we have some beans. Now, I think that I'm not really sure what variety. I think they might be Kentucky Wonder, but I don't really remember. I threw out the seed packet, to be honest with you. And I know there was another heat-resistant variety. I think that's what this is over here. But yeah, I'm hoping that they will grow up this old okra plant. Anyway, we have here some tomato seedlings. Some of them are wheat leaf frost resistant. That one is. That is. And I think that is. And then I have regular cherry tomatoes back there and right there. And in the winter we get frosts here, but you can still grow food. And the wheat leaf frost resistant tomatoes obviously are supposed to resist frost better than normal tomatoes, but you can still grow tomatoes even though they're supposed to be frost sensitive. You can still grow them in the winter. It's just that the leaves die back a little bit and then they end up growing back. But I want to do a side-by-side comparison. That's why I planted both varieties. Here's some more beans of the varieties that I mentioned before. They're going to grow up this stack of fence segments that I have here. And we also have black-eyed peas. That's them all the way on the right side of the clump. I had black-eyed peas growing in the summer, and I had some problems with them. Had a lot of aphids. I told you I controlled them with oil. That worked pretty well, actually. Another problem I had was with mold. You're supposed to let the seeds dry on the vine, or you can, and when you do that, mold gets into them and it makes them purple and black and stuff, and well, they're not supposed to be that way. They're supposed to be white. Anyway, I also tried taking the seed pods off the vine before they were fully dry and letting them dry in my house, and they still got mold and they got caterpillars in them. So I'm thinking next summer I'm going to try using yard-long beans, which are basically the same species, and they're just more of a green bean kind of variety, and they do get really long. Some of them can really get a yard long, and maybe that'll work out a little bit better. Okay, here's an example of some yard-long beans. Now, yard-long beans are bred to be eaten as an unshelled green bean. In the wet summers, I'm going to want to eat my beans fresh before mold has a chance to grow. I also want to eat them fresh because if I let them dry, insect larvae start eating them. With yard-long beans, it's easier to eat them fresh because I don't have to shell them. So next summer, I'm going to give yard-long beans a try. The leaves of these black-eyed peas are supposedly edible, and the sweet potato leaves are edible as well. I've tried the sweet potato leaves; they're pretty good. These leaves from the cowpeas, black-eyed peas, are kind of bitter. And by the way, this variety is California number 5, I think. When I planted them in the summer, I just got the dried ones from the grocery aisles in Walmart and planted them, and they grew. Got the remnants of them over there. Little dead sticks still going up this thing. Although before I didn't have this fence segment stack. I had sticks, and ants were nesting in the sticks, and they were helping out the aphids. So I think maybe that's why I had an aphid problem with the cowpeas. All right, so here we have chia. And just in case you wanted to know, here's how the chia looks when it first sprouts. And I'm not so sure about how the chia plants are going to work out. I'm growing them for the seed, but you can also use the leaves for tea. I don't know what variety they are. Just got them online. It said chia seeds. Anyway, so they're supposed to be frost tender. If they're frost tender, they might still survive, because that's what happens with the tomatoes. And I'm also thinking that might happen with peanuts, but you kind of have to experiment. Can't really trust what you read online a lot of the times. But here are the peanuts. And I got the seeds from Publix. They sell raw peanuts in the produce next to the carrots and celery and stuff like that. And I let them dry out, and I planted them, and this is what I got. The variety, I think, is red skin Spanish. I'm not 100% sure on that, because they don't list the variety when you sell them in Publix. But these are something about like a month old. They're already starting to flower. Everything in this garden is about a month old at this point, except for the stuff that I left over from the summer. Alright, here's what the peanut plants looked like towards the middle of September, shortly after I planted them around the beginning of September. And the flowers are supposed to push their way into the ground, and I don't know, something about that makes me skeptical, because it just seems like the little stems, see these stems here, don't seem strong enough to grow into the ground. But I don't know, we'll see. I have them planted in groups of 2 here, because I was gonna take down one of them. I was gonna leave the stronger one, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave them the way they are. And finally, we have watermelon seedlings. Recently we had a lot of rain, and rain takes its toll on watermelon plants. It causes fungus. As you can see, there's one that died, I think, due to fungal infection, too much moisture. But we have one that's surviving pretty well. Yeah, so I tried growing watermelon in the summer. It's the same variety as this, which is Sugar Baby, and it didn't do well. It produced fruit, but there were so few leaves that the fruit wasn't sweet at all. But anyway, so yeah, the reason why these things have had fungal damage is because we had basically what's like an extension of the wet season. We had a lot of rain over the past 2 weeks, even though the wet season should have ended about 2 weeks ago. And that's why you see so much fungal damage, but it's starting to dry out. The weather's supposed to be dry. into the future, into the near future anyway. So hopefully they'll produce something. This is supposed to be a good season for watermelon here. I would say spring and fall. Okay. I think that's about it. My neighbors just came home. They're making noise. I don't know if you can hear that. But I think that's about all I can tell you. If you'd like to get in contact with me, check out the information in the description or leave a comment under the video. Thanks.